Can you hear me?
Welcome to the John Clarence Gomez Show. AD.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me.
What is Pangdemonium?
Pangdemonium is a theatre company that my wife Tracy and myself have been running since 2010, and we've been telling stories on stage for the last 10 years that we both deeply believe in and feel very passionately about. And a number of these stories happen to highlight certain topics about our society that maybe are difficult to talk about, and that people are reluctant to discuss. And so when we find a play, when we find a script that is a wonderful script, and that also makes people start talking about certain subjects, that really excites us.
What is the first show of Pandemonium? The first show that you produce?
The very first show that we produced was in
Yeah.
2010. It was the musical, The Full Monty, which was adapted from the movie. And we chose this musical because we wanted to start off Pangdemonium with a big bang. And it was a feel good musical with lots of laughs, lots of love, but also was about friendship and fatherhood, and also celebrated the spirit of survival. Because really, essentially, it's about a bunch of guys who are down on their luck and lost their jobs, and what they do to try to rise above that adversity. And we were actually meant to produce a reboot of this musical this year, because this is our 10th year. And actually, we probably would have just finished the run very recently, but of course, because of the pandemic, we've had to postpone the show. So hopefully, we're able to do it next year.
You have a musical about autism, and the name is Falling.
Yes, correct. We did a play called Falling in 2016, and we chose this play because, first of all, it's brilliantly written. It's got lots of heart. It's very funny as well, but it's just a look at a day in the life of this family, where their teenage son, who is on the severe end of the autism spectrum, and it shows how they care for their son and the challenges that they face in caring for this boy. Um, but we also chose it because it really kind of resonated with us. The fact that this family is doing everything that they can to look after their son, and it was such a powerful statement about unconditional love. Um, and aside from that, obviously, it was a very eye-opening exploration about the world of autism. It certainly taught us a lot. It taught us a lot about this topic that I think a lot of people are very afraid to talk about. A lot of people know very little about, and we met some incredible people whose daily lives are dedicated to caring for individuals with autism. Um, and I have to say, I mean, that was quite a life changing production for us, and we were just so gratified that it reached out to so many people.
You can watch Falling today on BMU until
I I,
January.
I believe it is available for a limited time
Yes,
on Vimeo.
until January. Until
Yes,
January.
correct. You are right, John. So if you're able to, catch this production of Falling, please do. I think I believe you'll get a lot out of it. Anybody who's watching this.
In Pangdemonium, I saw your musical in YouTube, the trailer of Spring Awakening, and there is a Filipino cast named Julia Abueva.
Correct. Yes. Yes. Julia Abueva was living in Singapore at the time. I think she had grown up in Singapore, and I saw her in a concert or something. Gosh, when she was 12 or 13 years old, and when we said to ourselves, we have to watch out for this girl, and we hope to get the chance to work with her. And she came to audition for us for Spring Awakening, and she was outstanding. So we were very glad to have worked with her on her musical debut, a professional musical debut in Spring Awakening. This was in 2012. I believe she's in New York right now.
Yes,
She's working as a musical theater actor in New York, and but we have lovely memories of Julia. She was absolutely wonderful, and that production itself,
yes, she
Spring
is
Awakening.
wonderful. Yes,
Yes, yeah. It's a great musical. And we had a wonderful time on it.
and I watched also the trailer of Friend in 2016.
Ah, right. Yes. Wow.
Yes,
Okay. Yeah. We did Rent in 2016. That was also a fantastic experience. What a brilliant musical that is. So iconic, and it was really such a privilege for us to be able to do it. I mean, it's a huge production. The singing is so complex, um, but we put together a fantastic cast, and yeah, we had a sold out run. A very tricky show to do, especially in Singapore. But yeah, I think we got away with it, and the audience loved it. Absolutely loved it. Do you get to see a lot of musicals, John?
no, I only watch in YouTube, and I don't
Ah,
visit Singapore. In
right.
what is
Yeah, there
the
are a lot.
what
Mm-hmm.
is the what is the status of the theater in Singapore today? Because there is a COVID-19 pandemic. What is the
Yeah, it's
status?
very good question. Since March this year, we have had to close down every single theater production. Our last production that we were able to do live in the theater was a play called the the Sun, which was in March, and a week after we finished that run of the Sun, the COVID restrictions were imposed on us. So all theatre productions had to be closed, and they've been closed for the last 8 or 9 months. And in Singapore, they're only just starting to reopen um, in the last couple of weeks, actually. So social distancing measures and limited capacities are still being imposed on us. But hopefully we'll gradually be able to open more and more. We've just announced our first live show in the last year. We're going to be staging a one woman show called Girls and Boys. That'll be in February next year. Um, and in fact, it stars a wonderful actress called Nikki Mueller, who's also half Filipino. Um, Wonderful actress. We've worked with her on 3 previous productions, and she is going to blow everybody away in this play. So slowly reopening, but it's been a very painful last 8 months. Just as I know it's been in the Philippines as well. In fact, we were supposed to stage the play The Glass Menagerie back in June this year, which we were going to fly in a Filipino actress, Pinky Amador.
Yes,
Um,
I know. She is a
uh,
famous actress in the Philippines.
Absolutely, and we were so looking forward to working with Pinky on the Glass Menagerie this year, but obviously with COVID upon us, we were not able to do that, and we are hoping that we're able to do it next May. So fingers crossed. Our travel restrictions would have, you know, relaxed enough. Hopefully, the world will have changed enough by then. For all of us, and that we'll be able to stage the Glass Menagerie and have the pleasure of working with Pinky then. How are things with you over there
Yes,
in
just
the
okay. Just okay in the Philippines. And
yeah.
the latest show in Pandemonium in this year is Waiting for the Host. What is Waiting for the Host?
Waiting with the Host was an online play that we produced a couple of months ago. It was a play that we came across, specifically written during this pandemic, and it was about the pandemic, and it was about a bunch of people who belong to us to a certain church, and they get together on Zoom to to enact the Passion Play online. Um, and it's a wonderful piece that really spoke to us, and actually, I mean, thankfully, spoke to a lot of people who watched it as well, because it resonated with us in terms of how we were feeling a little lost during this COVID period, feeling a loss of purpose, a loss of faith in ourselves, a loss of a sense of the future, and just feeling that we needed some kind of answer, some kind of sign that we just had to somehow soldier on. And this play, well, provided that for us, a sense of hope, sense of optimism, and bit of inspiration. Um, so I mean, online theater, as I'm sure you know, isn't I hope it's not the future, because it was certainly just for us a temporary stopgap measure to keep on doing work and to try to stay active and creative during this time. But hopefully we're all slowly turning a corner and we'll be able to get back on stage and get back to our real lives soon.
What is the difference of online theater and stage theater?
Well, I think there is absolutely no comparison. For myself,
Yeah.
as an actor, having worked for the last 30 years, nothing beats being able to be on stage in front of a live audience every night and communing with a live audience, because it's not a one-way thing. As a performer, it's not just the performer sending out messages and thoughts and feelings to the audience is also giving back. And as a theater performer, you feed off the energy of the audience, and just being able to sense almost every individual sitting in front of you, listening to you and absorbing what you are trying to give them is a feeling unlike any other. Even working for the screen, acting for TV or for film, it just doesn't compare to the feeling of being on stage. Um, so during this last 7 or 8 months, not being able to get the opportunity to do that had made me appreciate all the more the the magic, I suppose, of live theater. Um, so I think it was very encouraging for people to tell us that yes, they really appreciated our efforts to put theater online, to go digital and everything. But a lot of them were saying, but we miss live theater so much. This is not the same. If we were able to meet each other face to face, John, I would love to have been able to have this conversation with you, in the flesh and live. But we're doing it through the screen. But we make do with what we have to, and we hope for the best for the future.
Thank you for guesting to my podcast.
It's been my pleasure, John. It's a
Bye.
real privilege to talk to you. Take care of yourself. All right.
Bye.
Bye bye. Take care.